You're listening to the Women in Cybersecurity Podcast, where global voices meet to inspire, inform, and ignite change in the world of cyber. Hosted by Yuri Diogenes, Alexandra Francu, and myself, Yulia Iancu, we bring you real stories, expert insights, and bold conversations from the front lines of cybersecurity. Now let's dive into today's episode.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Women in Cybersecurity Podcast, episode 14. Today I'm, still here with Alexa and Yuri and with our wonderful guest. And I'm very happy that you are here, that you're listening. If you like it, if you find the conversation insightful, make sure to like and share, subscribe to our channel. And now let's get into the episode. Alexa, who is our guest?
Hello everyone. So lovely to meet our wonderful guest today. Her name is Bruna Stradiotto. Bruna is Associate Director of Information Security and IT Risk at Canary Wharf Group in London, where she leads the protection of critical systems, data and operations for one of the most UK's iconic business districts. After several years as Information Security Manager and Senior Manager at Canary Wharf Group, she now drives the overall security and IT risk strategy, from policy development to enterprise risk management and data protection. With a career spanning more than 2 decades across Brazil, Italy, and UK, including roles in business intelligence at Unilever, commercial leadership, and operations management, Bruna brings a rare blend of business acumen and deep security expertise. She understands both the boardroom and the technical team, making security a true business enabler. Bruna's journey from commercial and customer-facing roles into cybersecurity leadership is a powerful example of how diverse experiences can lead to impact in security and how women can shape the future of this field. Nice to meet you and welcome to our show, Bruna.
Thank you very much for the invitation, and it's a pleasure to be here.
Bruna, it's interesting because I got to know you through someone else at Microsoft UK that said, hey, I follow your podcast and I think you should interview this person. So that's how I got your name. So thank you very much for joining today. So, talk a little bit about you, how you got into this field. And also, since you came from Brazil, how was this move? Looks like Italy first and then UK. Explain a little bit more about that.
Yeah, that's right. So I was born and raised in Brazil. I am actually a food engineer by background. So that's why I started my career at Unilever, and it was always customer facing. Like, it was client relationship, then moving to intelligence. But there was an opportunity from my husband actually to move to Italy. And then on the company he was working, and always one of us needed to open and say, yeah, let's do it. So I was the one that, okay, I will give up my job. So I gave up my job in Brazil. We moved to Italy. And then after 1 year and a half there, and when I got there, I wasn't speaking little Italian, let's be honest. So I had to learn, and I always say the best way to learn in a foreign language is living and working. So I went there, I got a job, I started working in a job there. Like, after 1 year and a half, there was another opportunity in London, and then the company said, oh, we have a position in London for my husband. And I said, yeah, I wanted to come to London. I wanted to improve my English. And that's when I came to London. I worked before in a Jewish company because of all the experience that I had before. And I love London. We love London. We feel at home here. Although we only complain about the weather, but otherwise it's very good. There's so many positive things here, the culture and everything. So we stayed. It's been 15, almost 16 years this year in London. And I was in the Jewish company until 2020 when came the pandemic. And we were delivering juices for the best hotels and restaurants in London. And that's where I was a commercial director. So I had all the 500 clients that we have. But during the pandemic, the company went to administration. So, I said, that's my opportunity now. If I want to change career, that's my time. And I didn't decide cyber straight away. I took a while thinking, what I would be doing, what I wanted to do. There was several options. And it was just probably, I would say, a coincidence. I woke up one day and I got an email from, it was a school offering why you don't make a career in cyber. And probably they sent to a lot of people. I still don't know how they got my email. When I look at that, my husband is in cyber. And I show him, I said, oh, I think this is interesting. What do you think? You look at the certifications. It's CompTIA. It was Moot CompTIA. And then he said, oh, it's a very good, very well recognized. I think you should do it. I think you are going to like. And I book a meeting to speak to them. So we talk for 1 hour. They explain what would be, what I would be learning, to understand my needs as well, to see if that's what I would like to do and start. And that's how everything started. And I said, yep, let's do it. And then when I started doing I took a break. I was not working on that moment. So throughout 6 months, I studied. I didn't know anything about I knew I had a little basic, but it's on the day-to-day working at this company, sorting out a few IT issues, a few routers, or writing down something. But I started from scratch then. So I did my CompTIA A+ to understand the little basics about computing. Then I studied for Network Plus, and then I did the Security Plus. So in 6 months, I did all these 3 certifications. And then I said, now I'm ready to look for a job. That's how everything started.
Nice.
Lovely. What is it something that perhaps we missed from your introduction, something that we should know about you that we missed?
I think you did a very nice summary of everything. The only thing that it's not there is a little bit about personality, because I think that help a lot on that. So I from seeing that I changed countries 3 times. I loved a challenge, and I love changes. A lot of people don't like change, and I always embrace a change as it is something new. So when I was studying, for example, when I had to change career, when I was studying, I already have 2 small kids, it's not that I'm young and I said, oh, well, let's change career now and I'm still young and I can make mistakes. No, I think there's no age to change career. That's something that I always say to everyone that come to me and say, how did you do it? I think you just need it to want. And I always willing to learn. And I said, let's study, let's do it, because I think we can. I think it was believing in. It's not that, I had my doubts. I said, oh my goodness, I don't know if I can do it. It's so difficult. And then you have to study, test the exam and all those details. Of course it come, because it's a lot of emotions together. But I'm always I love a challenge. I love learning. And I think that helped me a lot through this transition.
How did your day change after you switched to cybersecurity? How was your day being How did your day look like before cybersecurity, and how did it after?
Fun enough, I think that I live a dream now. Although it is cyber, because I was on a Swiss company and it was a just-in-time business, and it was crazy working we still work long hours. There is nothing such like, oh no, my time is that. I'm a person that I need my job to be done and delivered. It doesn't matter if I am late. I don't want to be late on that. So I know my deadlines. But on the juice companies, everything needs to be now here. And on being cyber, you can take a step back and say, wait, I need to think about it because it's so complex. So it was not a difficult job before, because it just, I don't have labels today for the GCs. Oh, let's sort out, let's bring something like that, So on the day to day, I'm being the office. Those details didn't change for me, so I didn't see much change on that. I think it's just on overall the delivery. I have now time to step back, think about it, what I'm going to deliver, how I'm going to deliver something, all the risks that involve it. That before I never had this chance, So I think overall has been, for me, great. I really enjoy.
I didn't know about all this career change and how you start from scratch. And this is actually fits perfect with our podcast because many of our listeners, they are trying to transition to cyber. They are looking for opportunities. And I love the fact that you focus on certifications because I truly believe that certifications give us a good foundation of understanding, even if it's theoretical, but it help us to understand key concept terminology, know how to speak the language, right? So
Yeah.
how critical for you it was to have those certifications when you look back?
I think one of the things when I was looking for the transition and I came for my interview, what I was very clear and I was very honest with my hiring manager. I said, I have all the soft skills that I can transfer. And that's what life gives you after working a few years. I said, I have the soft skills. I have things, maybe, for example, I create a policy. It was a health and safety, but I understand what it's a policy. But I have never done one fiber. I didn't have the technical school. I didn't have the experience. But I have done the certifications, exactly what you said. I knew the terminology. I knew what's, I don't want to be technical here, but let's say I knew what a firewall means, you know, and and I think that made the difference because although I understand that cyber has a lot of domains and a few of them you need to be very technical or very operational, and I have the experience for that. And when I applied for this role in information security, so when I was looking for a job, I was in doubt because I was transitioning, and I knew that I would have to take a step back in my career on that moment because I was a director, and I knew I would never be a director or have a manager position. So when I applied for this position, it was an analyst position. And when I was looking for analyst. I was thinking, oh, let me be a SOC analyst or an incident analyst because I would need to learn the technical skills that I had studied. So I think it is fundamental. You need to know, at least if you want to do this transition. And I think that was essential for me to put both together because then I have the soft skills that I was able to transfer and sell that because that helped on the transition, but as well knowing everything that I was talking about. It was just missing the day-to-day work and to day-to-day learn. And I never stopped, Yuri. I did that to do the transition. And then after, I still did the CompTIA Cloud. And then the following year, I did the Isaac Assis and I did the series. So every single year, as I said, I like to learn. And I know I have like now 4 years of experience. And I know that for me, it's important that sometimes you talk to people that have been on this journey for 20 years. So they have the experience. Maybe they don't have the certifications, you know. And having the certifications, I think it really helped me. And it really helped me when I became a manager, when I was promoted the first time. So after 1 year, it came the opportunity that my director that hired me, he left. So they promote me after 1 year in the position. They already promoted me to be the manager. But doing the seasoning from Isaac, I was open eyes to understand a lot of things, you know, in the risk compliance. How do you report to the board? And I think it helped me grow a lot after 2 years on that. Now I think I'm super confident. When I go, like last year, I did another course, the CISO, and on the 4 days, I said, I know everything you guys are talking about. You know, I'm not learning anything new. I want to learn something new, you know, and I think it was.
I love it.
so
I love it. I've been taking certification since 1997, and I never missed 1 year.
Oh, wow.
So
That's been me for the last 4 years.
I heard you speaking about boardroom, and I understand that in your position now you have to speak both boardroom and technical language. Tell us a bit about those both perspectives and what it helps you translate the technical into the boardroom talks.
I think what helped me a lot is that I'm not super technical. So when it comes to the board, I know it or the audit committee, there are few people they understand a few terms, But if I come saying something very technical that I am talking to my team, they are not going to understand. So what I usually like to do is, of course, that sometimes we go a little bit over, so every time I write something, I always ask my colleagues, do you understand what I'm saying here? Or have a second view, even like for my director, I said, do you understand that, or is it too technical? Because he's not technical. He's like on technical on security. So he relies on my advice. He relies on me to advise on what we should be doing. So when I put that and I explain to him, and I can be on these terms, I can be a little bit technical. But when I put that together, it helped a lot have a second view on everything, because we try our best, but sometimes of course, there's something technical that goes there. But I think it's essential, because most of the boards, they do not understand all our, not only security, all these technical parts of technology. So it's educating them and bringing that awareness to them. Even like, oh, you don't want to go for this. So this is the risk of not implemented. What is the impact of that on the business? Understanding important that you understand that. On my view, I think it's understanding the business need, because you can talk their language. For example, my board, they are very number driven. So it's not that I can go there and say beautiful stuff, because they're going to ask me numbers, but what is the statistic? How do we compare with others? So I think first is understanding how they like to receive the information, and help them translate that.
Very useful. Thank you.
So you have also extensive experience in multiple countries and as a woman in tech. So what's your experience as a woman? Not only maybe in cybersecurity, and also because you're a manager now, you've seen how hiring processes or how the teams are, how they work. What do you think women face as challenges or experiences as women in tech?
Yeah, I think on the first moment, I think there was a lot of the easy still the misconcept that that's not a place for women. And I don't see why it's not, because you just really you just needed to want to do that. It is not anything specific that we can. And I think we bring a lot of diversity and a lot of different ideas from men sometimes, on when on the table, or when we have a discussion. I think changing countries was very helpful, because you also learn how to work with different culture, different people, and you need to respect that everyone is different, and everyone brings their own idea to the table. But at the same time, from their culture, or from the way they are, or for the way they were raised, everyone will be different. And we have here, we are open, at least in London, I can say that we're very open, and we are very open-minded. There is not easy still, I see a lot. For example, I really like to speak with other CISOs and go out on events. And you can see that's very, very much male dominate. There's always like 10 men, 1 or 2 women. But honestly, I don't understand. We should be like giving more incentive, giving more apprenticeship for women, because we can do that. And I don't see the challenge in why people can go to finance, who are more women working in HR, and they cannot work in technology. I think there is the misconception, maybe that's difficult, I have to study, or I have to do something, And I think it's just missing this opportunity to open mind. When I was talking to my daughter the other day, and of course, as a pre-teenager, she wants to have access to TikTok and Instagram and this and that. And we try to explain it, that's not how it works, and at this young age, already trying to open her mind and giving her and explain what it can be security. And I think that should come and would be very helpful if it would come from young ages as well. And I think that's what it's missing on our side.
Uh, as a hiring manager now, you turn the table and you are hiring new people. So certification was critical for you. When you are hiring, do you look for candidates more with experience? Do you take in account the certifications? It varies case by case. How you balance this need to have experience versus bet in someone that is committed to learn and has a lot of certifications, but not maybe the necessary experience?
I have both examples to give it to you because when I was back in 2022, when I was promoted to be a manager in 2023, my position open, and I decided that I wanted to give the opportunity for the internal team, the help desk, the service desk, to apply for it, but they didn't have the experience. But I said, on that moment, that's something that you can learn, and I was willing to give the opportunity. And fun enough, on the interview, I had one guy that he did the CompTIA, the A plus, the network, and he was already on the security because he came to me and asked me, how did you do the transition? So when I told him how I did, he was following the same steps. And he came on for the interview. He had the certification. And on the other interview, I had one of my service desk. He didn't have the certification. He was 1 year with us on service desk, and he was amazing on his personality, on what he was willing to learn, and the way he's expressed himself. And he was feeling so confident, and he was so good on the interview that I hired him. I said, I will give him the opportunity to learn and to grow on the job. So on the first year, I'm going to be very honest, Yuri, it was a learn experience for him, and it was very difficult because I was training him on a lot of things. And on the second year, then he starts studying for the certifications. On the second year, he was knowing more, and now he's driving. He's on 30 year, and he knows so much. But now that I've been promoted to associate director, I need to hire an analyst because actually he resigned. He decided to go for another job. And I said, go, it's your time to fly. He learned what he needed to learn here. Now he needs to learn something else. And that's why I'm hiring. But this time I'm looking for a senior position because for me now is important experience. Because on the last, I was on my side, we as a department, we are growing a lot. We have much more visibility and we have so much responsibility that I need someone that I can rely on, and I need someone strong that has the experience. So certification is important. It is. I'm also looking at that, but I'm willing to take someone that can come here on the interview and say to me, I can do that. I have the experience. I have done this, and I'm willing to learn more. And then next year they can do the certification. And, when I will give all the support for them to study, do the certification as well. So I think this time it will be a balance.
Yep. Makes sense.
It's nice to hear that you were considering and you gave the opportunity of someone that was rather new and inexperienced to learn on the job and to experience the ramp up in a very newbie position posture. How do you see this happening? Do you wish more people would do the same? Because in this hiring world, I don't personally see this very often. People giving these chances to particular candidates, even though they would see potential in them, speaking from a soft skills perspective, posture perspective, but somehow they would lack particular skills that are technical, but rather easy to pick up on the go. How do you
I agree with you, and I think it's difficult when maybe it's someone from external. So when for example, I open this job. We have this job offer, and I have 10 CVs, but 9 of them they are related to or help desk technology or security, but one has nothing to do. I don't know, like I'm going to give a generic example. Please don't take this. No one did that. But like imagine like a painter apply for this. this position. And I had this previously when I was on the other company. So when you get that, and difficult for you to now choose and give an opportunity to someone, why are you applying? When I had the other people with at least or an experience or a certification or something. But on my case, at least, I wanted to give an opportunity because we work together, and it was someone internally that helped me a lot on choosing him on that moment because I knew his work. He was for us for 1 year. And I spoke with his manager to give a feedback, like to have a feedback, like to understand how his professional, ethical, and how he was working with the team. He was a team player because you look at the soft skills as well. You look at not just technical one. You need to look at the other skills. And I think knowing someone internally was easy for me to make that decision. But when you look at 10 CVs or someone that's external, and then you see one that doesn't go with anything, that you say, why am I going to call him or her for an interview? And I think that's what happened a lot, unfortunately.
Yes.
Outside of certifications, what's something important for you that a person has? Maybe a skill or maybe energy, or what else is important for you?
I think for me, it's important that they want to grow, they want to learn, and they are a team player. That's what for any team that I will be working with. And I never think that because he's working with me, I'm more or less, I'm trying to be a leader. I'm going to try to teach him how to do the best and how I did with my other analysts, and everything I was doing, I was trying to teach him. I was trying to be a team. We are a team together. We are equal. Whatever we do, we need to show off, and we need to show the business that we know what we're doing and we're working as a team. And I think like when you are open to learn and you are open to work with your team, that makes, I think, a difference when, for me, in particular, I don't like those people that come to come in, clock in, clock out. I respect because sometimes I do that as well. But it's just like, oh yeah, oh, that's not my job description. I don't want to do, and here we are. And I say that not just because it's cybersecurity technology. I say to my whole team when we were talking, and I said, we are here on this together, so if my team there, that's not InfoSec, but it is infrastructure, or if it is any service desk, we have a problem. We are on this together. So let's work together. And I think this is type of the attitude that you expected from someone to work with you. And that for me, I think it's very important.
Thank you.
This is a question that I've been asking for probably every single guest, because it's top of mind for our listeners, it's top of mind for everyone right now, which is how you see AI in terms of not only as a tool, but do you also believe that will affect the job market in terms of, I have, instead of opening a junior level position, I'm just going to, create an AI agent to do that job. Are you already there, or are you already looking at these possibilities?
As a business, not yet. We're being precautious. We of course are looking at AI a lot and how we can help all the departments and improve it. I think AI, it will be, in my view, it's coming as a business enabler, and I think it's going to take whatever it's boring for us to do, whatever is repetitive, it's going to help us be more efficient and take this burden that we have, and we spend 2 hours, I don't know, on an Excel when AI can quickly do that. For example, just give an example. And fun enough, we were talking about this yesterday. I was on a dinner, and the conversation was on AI, and exactly that, because they were saying, if we replace all our analysts with AI and we just keep the managers, in 10 years' time, what is going to happen when this manager leaves or this manager retire? Who one day is going to replace the managers? And these managers will be God almost, because how we are going to do that? And I think at least in InfoSec, we still need that um, human decision, because AI will say yes or no, and then we need to think about it. And I think on InfoSec, at least, we need this human decision. And on a lot of things that we do on the day-to-day, on the risks and everything. And AI can help us, of course, to do that. But I think the final decision comes to us. But there are other jobs, I do think, that can be replaced. Why not? For example, and the other discussion the other day was, why can pen testing not be replaced by one day AI? You know, why do we need an ethical hacker if AI can do everything? So I think maybe there are things that can be replaced and will be not on the bad side, but on the good side to make our life easier. And I know there is a lot of discussions on the bad side, or how all the threat actors are using against us on phishing and all those things. Well, we have been using AI for such a long time. And as it came cloud and have that big blah, what cloud is bringing to us and how it's going to be. And I think that big conversation, it's now calmed down. And a lot of businesses is trying to see how they are going to deal with AI. Is it worth implementing? A lot of people saying that they invest so much and they're not getting the return on investment. So that's why we're being cautious. We are letting the others playing around. We do have a few AI. We do not forbid the business to use, but we always say be cautious when you use. There is always the pros and cons. Well, I do think that it's coming with on a positive way as well. There's always the negative as everything, everything is a risk, and you need to see if you're willing to take or not.
Now I wonder, how do you balance your work life with your personal life? What's your best approach to
I
stay
have
sane?
Yeah, I have. It's not easy. It's not being a woman, because we have work, we have a family, we have kids, we have a house to look after. So it's each country, by the way, it's very different. The way, for example, in Brazil, it's very common that you have someone helping you with the house, coming cleaning for you, and then you look after your job, or maybe the kids, or even have it help you with the kids. Here in London, we don't have any of this help. We do everything ourselves. Yeah. So, and I don't have a family living here. It's just one. Yeah. It's just me, husband, and 2 kids. Luckily, because you needed to drop off and those things at school. So my husband worked from home, so that's very helpful because it helps on, for example, on the school run. But everything else, Alexa, yep, it's on me. For example, I book these, I have a birthday, I have these. So it is this balance. It's sometimes crazy, busy, but I also take time to look after myself. So for example, at lunchtime, so in the office here, at lunchtime, I like to go to the gym, and have my time. I like to go out on events. So sometimes it's during the day, sometimes it's a dinner, and where you meet other peers, because we always say that in security, one learning from each other. We never know everything, and we will never know everything. So we always share ideas, and I love sharing ideas with others and understanding, seeing sometimes, oh, I never thought about that. So I really like to go, and I think I learn a lot going and speak with other people with different industry, with different security settings from us that we could use. So sometimes, yeah, once a week I go for a dinner, and then husband stay with the kids. When he goes out, I stay with the kids, and we balance all that. It's busy, but we balance all together. But I think, sorry, just to analyze one thing, I think what helps a lot, I needed to be in the office. So here we need to be in the office 4 days of the week, but we have a flexible working. So for me, it's very helpful because, for example, I come very early, but then I can leave and get home, as still a normal time, like 5 p.m. I'm home, so I can make a dinner and I can have my time with the kids as well.
That helps a lot.
How was it for you to move so much, to move to 3 countries, and would you move again if a new job opportunity would appear?
I don't think I would move now from London anymore. But if you ask me, if you go back in time and you could decide again, knowing what would happen, I would come and I would do the same. You know, I think it is a great experience if you really want to grow. And I think changing my mind in so many things, because when you live in one country, and I think that's not just because I'm from Brazil, but when you live in one country, it doesn't matter. You just know your culture and you know your people. And when you go abroad and you work and live and you see so many different cultures and different people, I think it's open your mind a lot. And I think for me, that was what happened. I would do again, but I don't want to live in London anymore. I really feel that this is our home.
Yeah.
But I never say never, because as I said, I love a change. I love a challenge. So who knows, maybe one day, but for now, no, I don't think so.
Do you have any country in mind?
No, no, but I have 2 kids to convince that maybe another place would be better for them to move.
No, that's great. That's great that you are open your kids' minds to other possibilities, right? The same thing. I moved to US 23 years ago, and some of my daughters they won't stay here, and other probably will not. But it's their life. They have to explore and look for different places. So going back to the whole move, I think we kind of skip Italy. What happened there? Was how long were you there? In how long were you there? And were you working there when you were there working, or were you were just uh, you know visiting an employee at that time? Tell us a little bit more about the experience in Italy.
So I was working there. Really, I cannot be at home. I was never born to be a mom at home. For me as a person, it's important to
Well,
work.
you took 6 months to
I feel
study, right? You took 6 months.
I did, but my husband said, please find a job and get out of here because I cannot see you in this house anymore. I like talking, and then when I'm home and sometimes, I like to talk, I like to sort out. I'm super energetic, and like, no, find a job soon, please. No, I did it. I think it was the only time I took a break because on my 2 pregnancy, I stayed at home only 4 months. After 4 months of maternity leave, I already went back. I was really missing. At the same time, I know I have the kids, the babies. I want to spend the time with them, but at the same time, I was missing that busy life of going to work and doing different things, talking to people. I really like. And in Italy, when I moved, I was lucky enough because in Italy, it's a lovely place. I love it's beautiful, but it's not sometimes very easy to find a job there. And so if you talk to other Italian, although I am half Italian, and I have Italian citizenship, it is not easy to get a job. But I was lucky enough that there was one guy, he was starting a business. It was a medical product that he was selling. And he lived in London before. So he was super open mind. And when I went there and I said to him, oh, I'm from Brazil, I speak Portuguese, I speak Spanish, because on that moment I was speaking Spanish as well, fluent. And now I forgot everything. But on that moment I was speaking Spanish and a little bit of English. My English was not so good. And then he said, oh, can you help us? I said, yeah, of course. So it was such just me as an employee. That's why it's not such a huge experience, because it's a really small office, just one room office. I was the only employee doing kind of everything, answering the phone calls, organizing the office, while they were trying to build the business and sell their machine, which I think after following when I left, they didn't do great. They weren't able to sell much. It was very expensive, the machine, and I think the company closed down after like 1 or 2 years after I left. But yeah, but it was very important to learn more Italian because I was there all day. I had to answer the phone. I didn't have anyone to help me. And that moment, it's not that you have a Google phone, Google Translate to help me to translate. So I was learning there on the day to day, and with them talking all the time. So I think that was very important. So when I moved to London, my first thing was, I need to find a job. I wanted to start working because as soon as I know I start working, I will improve my English. And that was exactly what happened. On the first 3 months was really to improve my English. And it takes me to another level and learn so many different things because I started already on the juice company. And there was so many fruit and vegetables that I've never heard in my life before. Because when you go to school, you learn the basics, the book is on the table. This is a computer. This is a pen. When you get there, like, oh, this is a dragon fruit. I said, what? Which fruit is that? Yeah, you end up learning a lot.
Yeah, amazing.
Bruna, I have so many other questions that I want to ask, but conscious of the time, let's do two in one, just because I'm very curious. Okay. So, the first one would be, how are you teaching your kids about the today's security? Hearing you a bit earlier about the TikTok thing, probably other Instagram, Facebook, social media exposure. How are you teaching them about this?
Do you want to do both questions or this is one and then after you do the other one?
Yeah, let's.
Okay. The kids, it's not easy because more than, we say we are old and we look, I know what I'm doing. For example, the fight with my daughter on Instagram was she never had Instagram. She turned 13. So she said, can I have an account? And before we gave the account to her, we sat it down to her and we explained to her, look, you never had because there are several issues. I think that be safe online and be very conscious. It's very important and ensure that she's confident enough to not be affected from what she's seeing. They did have access to other things like they were on YouTube, but we also, of course, have a parent control. So we know what we give access. We didn't give her full access. We gave them a team. But what I like is always talk to them a lot. So and be mindful. Like if you find anything that you are not liking or something that bothers you, come and talk to mom and dad because we are here to help them. I think that's very important. They have to have this open mind on both sides, that she's free to come and talk to us anytime she needs. And then, of course, when we say to her, we don't go in specifics, but unfortunately, we say a lot of people take advantage, and use on a bad way. And she's still young, and you guys are young, you don't understand the word yet. But feel free to come and talk to us all the time. And we have the parent controls to keep that on.
What's your mission now for this year? What do you have in mind?
My mission on professional, you mean?
Or personal, professional, whatever maybe.
Yeah, I think more professional, at least. See, I studied something new. I told my director I want to do their specific courses on, for example, AI. And I think that's the year for the AI one. So my own professional side, this is one of it that I want to learn personally. I have a lot going on my job, particularly, and a lot of projects that I need to deliver. But I know myself, and I know we work hard, and I will deliver them. But I think the main thing it's this professional. On personal, I love traveling, and my life, like I always go to different countries, and I always like to know. Because we living in Europe, they give us a lot of opportunity to travel around a lot. And I said, I have done Europe already now. I want to go far. I want to go to other places. So yeah, I think that's at least what I'm working for, saving money for my holidays.
Thank you so much, Bruna.
Well, Bruna, it was an amazing conversation. Thank you very much to share this time with us. To me, in particular, is a pure coincidence because our previous guest was also a Brazilian that also live in UK. So it's the second Brazilian live in UK guest in a row, and in leadership position. So it makes me very proud of being a Brazilian to see y'all succeeding and really doing a good work there. So congratulations for the great work. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, all of you.
All right, everyone. This is a wrap for today's episode. Make sure to subscribe, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube. And we have a lot more to come. See you next time.